DeFi kingdoms.
In the lands where heroes roam, with quests and kingdoms we call home, there's a monk who drinks and spins his yarn, and a caster casting spells at dawn. It's the drug monk and the spellcaster, guiding you through realms past the crystal veil is tearing down. Break down quests and tell the tale of a chair. Have no fear, kingdom secrets you'll find here.
What you gonna do, people?
Promotion will shine bright with heroes summoned, ready to fight. The monk's got wisdom in every sip, while the caster's magic never slips. It's the drug monk and the spellcaster, guiding you through realms past the crystal veil, staring down. Break down quests and tell the tale of a chair. Have no fear, kingdom secrets you'll find here. Jewels shine bright with heroes summoned, ready to fight. The monk's got wisdom in every sip, while the caster's magic never slips. You'll find here. Gardens grow, jewels shine bright, with heroes summoned, ready to fight. The monk's got wisdom in every sip, while the caster's magic never slips. It's the drug monk and the spellcaster, guiding you through realms past the crystal veil is staring down. Break down quests and tell the tale of a chair. Have no fear, kingdom secrets you'll find here. You'll find here. So grab your mug and hold on tight. Let the magic guster fly. Kingdoms take flight. To the realms.
All right, so get this, listeners. DeFi Kingdoms, they're launching a huge tournament series.
Oh, wow.
6 months long. And it's all happening on the Metis chain.
No way.
Yeah. Daily battles, weekly showdowns, culminating in this massive final event.
So it's kind of
with
like
a crazy prize pool. It's like imagine
like a huge tournament.
a World Series of poker, right?
Okay.
With swords and sorcery.
I like it. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah. DeFi Kingdoms, they're going all out.
I mean, structurally, it's interesting too, right? They've got the daily matches that lead up to the weekly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Then the monthly, and then finally that big final event.
It's like climbing a ladder, you know?
Yeah.
Each rung, the stakes get higher.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of high stakes, they're going all out at ETH Denver, end of the month, right?
Later this month, yeah.
I'm really curious to see what kind of buzz they can generate there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, showing off the new combat engine at a big event like that.
Oh, it's smart.
Yeah, it's a smart move, but, will it be enough to attract players from outside the existing community? That's what I wonder.
That's the big question. I mean, they're definitely pulling out all the stops. Like exclusive swag.
Oh, nice.
They partnered up with Metis, who will also be at ETH Denver.
I mean,
And, remember these tournaments? They're all happening on the Metis chain.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, Metis, fast transaction speeds, low fees.
It's the perfect chain for this kind of thing.
Exactly. For competitive gaming, you got to have a smooth experience. You can't have any hiccups.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, during a heated battle, that could be the difference between winning and losing.
100%. And they're adding a bunch of new gameplay features, too. One that caught my eye was, like, the pet feeding. You can now level up your pet,
Oh, interesting.
on the Metis chain. And it's like they get XP boosts during patrols and tournaments. So it's like...
So how do you think this will affect, like, tournament strategies? Imagine a team that's, like, really built around a super-powered pet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got all these unique abilities.
Oh, yeah.
Will we see certain pet types become, like, way more sought after because they have these combat bonuses?
I think so.
It adds a whole other dimension to, like, team composition and strategy.
Yeah, it's like a whole metagame within the game itself.
I like that. I like that.
And on top of that, they're overhauling the combat system. They've got these predictive animations.
Predictive animations? What's that?
Imagine being able to, like, anticipate your opponent's next move based on, like, how their stance shifts,
Ooh, so it's less about turn-based combat and more about real-time strategy.
It's adding that real-time element, which I think will bring in some players who are used to, more fast-paced action.
Right. So it's not your typical like turn-based thing that we see in a lot of blockchain games.
Right, exactly. It's more dynamic.
Yeah, I mean that could be really interesting.
And they're also tweaking like armor and weapon requirements
Okay.
to balance out the different hero classes.
Balance is key because if you have one class that just dominates, it gets well, kind of boring.
Oh, for sure. It gets stale, predictable.
Yeah, yeah. So this is good because it sounds like they're aiming for a more diverse meta.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's this new weapon, the Living Blade, and it scales with both strength and intelligence.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so how does that work?
We don't have all the details yet, but
I'm thinking like hybrid classes, like the Dark Knight. A Dark Knight with the Living Blade
oh, yeah,
dealing all this damage, physical and magical. It opens up a lot of possibilities for builds.
I know. It's like they're constantly pushing the boundaries, always adding new layers, new strategies.
Right.
And they just hit a major milestone. Over 1 million heroes.
Wow.
Summit in Serendale, too.
That's impressive. That's it really shows how much the game is growing.
And that's just one realm, right?
Right.
Across all the realms. Yeah, it's over 2 million heroes.
I mean, that's huge. That's that just speaks to the community, right?
Oh, yeah.
Engagement.
It's incredible. And to keep the community buzzing, they're rewarding those Whaley AMA sponsors
Oh, yeah.
with Jewel, their in-game currency.
That's smart. Yeah. It's a good way to keep people involved.
It's a clever way to incentivize
Yeah.
community involvement and to reward those who are, actively contributing to the tournament ecosystem.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is just the beginning. They've got more surprises up their sleeve, and we'll be diving deeper into those in the next part of this deep dive.
It's really cool what they're doing for the community.
I know, right?
Like they're really trying to,
Yeah.
build something special. And speaking of special, all these new features and this whole competitive scene.
Right.
I mean, how do you think that's going to like change DeFi kingdoms in the long run? I mean,
Yeah, it's got me thinking, like, what's the landscape going to look like, down the road?
well, for one, it could bring in a whole new wave of players, right? Like people who are really into esports, competitive gaming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And if they can tap into that
Yeah,
energy, then, I mean, DeFi Kingdom could really blow up.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, competition is a huge draw. And, more players, that means more demand for all the in-game assets, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, like, the heroes, the equipment, even those qualifier tokens we talked about, could we see, like, a surge in value?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's supply and demand, right? Increased demand, scarcity of those blockchain assets.
Yeah.
Prices are going to go up.
So it's good for the players, good for the game's economy.
Win-win, yeah.
It's like they've created this, like, cycle, this self-reinforcing cycle of growth.
Totally.
It's pretty amazing.
And as that ecosystem grows, it just attracts more attention from, developers, investors, all that.
For sure.
It's really interesting to think about, how much of a ripple effect something like this can have, a tournament series.
It really is. It shows, like, the power of community-driven innovation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty wild. Speaking of community, you mentioned those AMAs earlier. So for our listeners out there, what's the best way to stay in the loop, to keep up with all these new developments?
AMAs are a great way to get info straight from the source. The developer, you can ask them your questions directly. It's like a direct line
Right.
to the team. And of course, follow DeFi Kingdoms on social media. They're always dropping hints and stuff about
Teasers.
Yeah, teasers about upcoming features and
Good like that.
events and all that.
It's like they're inviting us all along for the ride, every step of the way. And for anyone feeling adventurous, ETH Endeavor's coming up
Oh, right.
later this month. That could be a chance to see the new combat engine in action.
Yeah, and meet the devs, meet other players.
Get a feel for the community firsthand.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good way to immerse yourself
Totally.
in the world of DeFi Kingdoms. And speaking of immersion, I've been thinking about the psychological impacts of all this, the competitive aspect.
Ooh, interesting. In what way?
Well, competition, it can bring out the best in people, right? It pushes us to improve,
Yeah.
hone our skills, strategize. But it can also, like, create pressure, like this need to constantly be better, be the best.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's going to affect the player experience? Do you think it'll create a more intense environment, more demanding?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, it'll be fascinating to see how the community kind of adapts
Yeah.
to this new competitive landscape. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today. Tournament structure, gameplay updates,
Sort of, yeah.
community milestones, the long-term impact, all of it. But I have a feeling, we've only scratched the surface here.
Yeah, I think so too. There are still so many questions,
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how things unfold.
Yeah, me too.
we've talked about the what and the how,
Right.
but the why is just as important. Like, what's the motivation here?
You're right. You're right. Understanding the why, the driving forces, that's key to really getting a deeper understanding.
Exactly.
And I think that's the perfect segue
Yeah.
into the next part of our deep dive. So we talked about the what and the how, but now I'm really curious about the why. Like, why are they doing all this? What's the motivation behind these tournaments?
Well, you could say it's kind of a natural progression, right? For any game that's successful, you start with the core gameplay, you build a community around it, and then eventually you got to give that community a way to, compete.
Yeah.
See who's the best, test their skills.
Right. Take it to that next level.
Exactly.
But with DeFi Kingdoms, I feel like it goes deeper than that because, it's all built on blockchain, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, by creating these tournaments, they're giving players all these new ways to earn rewards, value within the ecosystem, right?
Right.
And that attracts more players, strengthens the economy. It's really smart, actually.
It is.
When you think about it.
But it's not just about the economics, right? It's also that psychological aspect we were talking about earlier. It's like this competitive element, it adds a whole other layer to the experience.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It brings in this sense of urgency, like, I gotta get better, I gotta outsmart my opponents. And that can be really motivating for players,
Yeah, for sure.
It pushes them to engage more, master the game, explore different strategies.
It's like raising the stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And, we can't forget about the community aspect, like tournaments. They build rivalries,
Oh, yeah.
alliances,
Camaraderie.
a shared passion for the game and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. It's like, you're creating a space where players can connect, share their experiences, learn from each other. It's like a virtual arena where, the best of the best come to battle it out.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then you add in all these new features like the pet feeding, the living blade.
Right.
It just adds so much depth.
It's like they're giving players the tools to create their own play styles,
Yeah.
Their own unique paths to victory.
I like that.
And with this new combat system, that's all about real-time reactions, strategic thinking.
Yeah.
The skill ceiling it's way higher now.
So for our listener out there, what does this all mean for you? Well, I think it means opportunity. The chance to be a part of this this really dynamic gaming ecosystem.
Yeah.
To test your skills, against the best.
The best of the best.
Connect with an amazing community.
And potentially, make some money along the way.
Right. I mean, those qualifier tokens, the unique equipment,
The bragging rights.
bragging rights, being a champion, that's got to be worth something.
Oh, yeah, big time.
It's like they've created this whole mini world within the game with its own economy, its own social structure,
Yeah.
its opportunities for success.
And the best part is it's open to anyone, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're a seasoned veteran or a newbie.
Doesn't matter.
There's a place for you.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the takeaway here is this. DeFi Kingdoms, it's not just a game. It's an experience. It's a journey into this incredible world of blockchain gaming where innovation meets community and they create something truly special.
And we're still early, right? So the potential it's huge. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
Me too. And for anyone listening, if you're ready to jump in, head over to DeFi Kingdoms, explore the world of Serendale, and hey, maybe we'll see you on the battlefield.
Good luck out there.
Until next time, happy gaming, everyone.